Welcome back, everyone, to your stimulus update for today. On this episode, I'm going to be talking about what will be the impact if another stimulus package is not passed. Obviously, we're all hearing about how devastating that's going to be. I'm going to give you some facts and some data and my own personal opinion on what will occur if the stimulus doesn't get passed. In addition, I'm going to give you the latest on everything that's going on with stimulus, including today. All of that right after this. Once again, welcome back to your stimulus update for today, Monday, October 26th. Before I let you know the impact that not passing another stimulus will have on the United States individuals and our economy, let me first give you an update on the state of stimulus right now. Steven Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi are still talking. In fact, they're having a meeting right now as I'm recording this. So that is a good thing. It's not over. Obviously, they're digging in. I mentioned this to you last week on Friday that there would be digging in now because Steven Mnuchin can't really go any further. He's gone basically as far as he can go. If he goes any more, it will be the tipping point and you will not be able to pass it through the Senate. So therefore, negotiations would determine that it is time for Nancy Pelosi to negotiate down where Steven Mnuchin is, or else we're not going to get anything. Of course, if you take the other side of the bias, you will say that Steven Mnuchin and Donald Trump should simply move up to where Nancy Pelosi is, regardless of whether or not the Senate will actually vote for it. And if they don't, just blame the Senate rather than compromise on a bill and on the things that everyone can agree with. We got this from Senator John Thune of South Dakota today. By the way, he is the #2 ranking Republican leader, and he told reporters that the prospects will improve after the election once we get past the current unpleasantness that we go through every even-numbered year. He said there's a whole range of things that we agree on, and I don't know why we can't at least do that. And then if they get the majority, speaking about the Democrats, they can come back later. If they don't, and we are still in the majority, then I suspect there will be more interest in trying to get a deal. So basically, he's saying Steven Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi agree on a number of things already, and so do Republicans and Democrats. Why not just pass what we agree on, let the elections unfold? If Democrats take power, then they can pass more of what they want to pass. If they don't go into power, then obviously the American people are saying something and will continue to negotiate down the line for the additional things we need. That makes a lot of sense to me. But then again, maybe I'm just biased and I need individuals to tell me how cruel and unusual I am to want a compromise and help to the American people. Let the election unfold and let the American people decide. Currently, there is no update on the meeting today between Steven Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi because I am recording again this video as they are meeting with each other. So here is what's going to happen if we don't get another stimulus bill. The important thing is that individuals are being impacted by this. So first, let me go ahead and give you some data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is the most recent and up-to-date information we have from October 2nd's report. Some of this information is going to make it look like the economy is doing okay, and some of it is not going to make it look like it's okay. Remember, we need to take a holistic approach. It can't just be looking at one piece of data and saying, oh, everything's fine. Like, hey, look at the stock market. Everything's fine. That's not the way an American economy or any economy works. Right now, as of October 2nd, the total non-farm payroll employment did rise 661,000 individuals in September, and the unemployment rate did decline to 7.9%. Now, the decline is starting to slow down. So where we started to see a very steep decline in unemployment, it is now starting to slow its pace down, which is important because when I'm going to tell you what's going to happen if we don't get another stimulus, the thing you need to understand is not devastation. It will be devastation to certain individuals on an individual basis, but holistically, the word slow down is what's going to more likely impact most Americans. But we do need to be concerned with the individual Americans as well. Among those who are unemployed, the number of people on temporary layoff did decrease by 1.5 million. Now it's at 4.6 million. This measure is down considerably, by the way, from the high of 18.1 million in April, but it is still 3.8 million higher than February. Again, it is going down, but it's going to start to level off, just like the unemployment rate. In September, the number of people employed part-time for economic reasons declined by 1.3 million to 6.3 million, and this is also reflecting a decrease in the number of persons whose hours were cut due to lack of business or slow business. The number of people in the labor force who currently want a job is at 7.2 million. This did not change much at all, and that's sort of the point right now. We are seeing some improvement in the economy, but we're seeing a leveling off and also in some cases a stopping of improvement. And this is why the stimulus is so important holistically. This measurement is 2.3 million higher than in February, so that's obviously not a good thing because these are the individuals who want a job, but they can't get a job. And some of these individuals are not counted anymore because they're not actively looking for a job over the last 4 weeks. In September, 22.7% of employed persons teleworked because of the coronavirus. This was down from 24.3% in August. That is an important statistic too because it shows us that individuals are very much impacted by this pandemic and businesses are still requiring teleworking up to 22.7% of individuals. And we also had in September 19.4 million people reported that they had been unable to work because their employer closed or lost business due to the pandemic. That is important for the unemployment reason. So what's going to happen on an individual basis if we do not pass another stimulus bill? The big thing is going to be your unnecessary evictions. There's going to be a number of individuals who are going to be kicked out of their homes. Either they're renting their mortgage, they own a home, the bank is going to come after them, or the landowner is going to come after them because they're going to lose protections very soon. In addition, they're not going to have money, either enough unemployment money or stimulus money or whatever they would need. And in a lot of these cases, it's not these individuals' fault. It is actually the pandemic and the forced shutdown of businesses. So you're going to see evictions occurring all over the place. Now, it's not going to be everyone. The percentage might be considerably low when you look at the entire population. However, there's going to be individuals whose lives are going to be flipped upside down if they don't get another stimulus bill. And I think we need to be aware that it may not happen to us, but there's going to be people who are going to lose their homes if there's not more protections put into place, and not of any fault of their own. Obviously, there's some people who can do jobs or have the ability to. We're talking about the case where people don't have the ability to do that. Also, it's very likely if another stimulus doesn't pass, there's going to be mounting personal debt that's going to occur, which means less movement of money. Less movement of money means slowdown, and this is going to impact businesses. So basically, you need to look at it like a wave. So you get these ebbs and these flows in the wave. And what's going to happen is if you don't get another stimulus, it might not look bad at first. It might look like everything's okay, but then eventually that wave is going to hit and it's going to have an impact on businesses. And that's something that individuals need to be aware of. There's also going to be healthcare issues because a lot of the stimulus money goes into providing healthcare, testing, tracing, treatment, individuals' abilities to pay for their medication. And that's going to have medical implications on a lot of individuals if another stimulus doesn't go through. You also need to know it's going to impact U.S. businesses quite heavily, especially those smaller businesses that have been barely staying afloat, even some big corporations as well. A lot of their funding, a lot of their grants and their loans, the money that they've been using is running out. It is going to end. They desperately need more money. And if businesses shutter down, that's going to lead to a stabilization of unemployment and then eventually an increase in unemployment. You're also going to have more businesses folding. This, of course, is going to have another ripple effect throughout the economy. You're also going to have government entities in big trouble. States are down probably around $200 to $250 billion in pandemic-related costs. If they don't get that money from somewhere, which would obviously be the U.S. federal government, this is going to put a constraint on schools, police, firefighters, medical infrastructure, maintenance. Basically, they're not going to be able to handle all those different things. And what's going to end up happening is you're going to end up taking money from each of these places. Individuals are going to get laid off. Those individuals who are laid off are going to be on unemployment. Obviously, they're not going to be able to work. This is going to lead to less flow of money and then a slowing down of the economy. And by the way, the only positive of all of this is the fact that you won't add another $2 trillion to the U.S. debt. This, of course, may help keep inflation lower. Obviously, inflation right now is actually lower still because money has been taken out of the economy due to the pandemic. But if we don't add another $2 trillion, we will definitely keep our inflation lower. And so that's really the only positive of not passing this next stimulus bill during this time. I don't think that would be enough of a positive to not do it. However, the financial implications of the ensuing economic slowdown might end up costing the U.S. economy trillions of dollars anyway. So is it really worth it in the long run? So is no stimulus stimulus bill going to destroy the United States? The answer is no, but it will have dramatic impacts on a number of specific individuals, especially with evictions, and holistically, it will cause a massive slowdown in the economy and to businesses that will have a wave and a ripple effect, and this will basically increase the slowdown for a longer period of time. And of course, by passing the stimulus package, you're not going to end all of the problems. That is simply not going to happen. There's not enough money on planet Earth to end all of the problems that everyone has. But what you are going to be able to do is stop people from getting evicted from their homes. You're going to be able to keep a number of individuals employed. Those people who are employed are going to be able to then take their money and obviously continue to put it into the economy. Individuals who have to stay home with their children are going to be able to be supported, especially because the government is shutting down businesses or place of work, schools being shut down. I do believe that another stimulus package is necessary. I do believe that a compromise needs to happen. However, if it does not, look forward to probably at least another 5 to 10 years of a ripple effect economic slowdown that is going to impact people more than the $2 trillion that it's going to cost. And in my opinion, even if you're a fiscal conservative, that's the way you need to look at it. If this bill costs $2 trillion, if we don't pass this bill, how much is it going to cost us economically and individuals personally? Is it going to be more than $2 trillion? And in my opinion, over the long run, it is going to be more than $2 trillion, which is why during a pandemic, even though in many cases I can be a little bit more conservative fiscally, I do believe that the government could do some real good right now by passing this. I hope this analysis makes things more clear. I do want to end this video though on a positive note. Nancy Pelosi and Steven Mnuchin are still speaking with each other. If a stimulus bill does not happen before the election or an agreement doesn't happen before the election, they're still talking. Yes, they are digging in. It's unfortunate they're taking a long time, but it is not over. Remember, we do have an election coming up that could cause a mix-up or maybe not. But once things start to calm down again, stimulus is going to come back up, especially because some of the data that I was reading to you, although some of it looks good, it is positive, it is starting to show that there is a slowing down of the improvement, which is exactly what you don't want to see, because that's where your waved ripple effect is going to hit. And so I believe individuals, as they see this, are not going to allow the stimulus to just fall away entirely. They will bring it back up eventually at some point. As always, if you like the information provided here, consider subscribing to the channel. I would love to have you come along with me. Once again, I will catch you next time.